My name is Ernie Salgado. I am one of the pitmasters here at Carriqui here in San Antonio, Texas. So how I would describe our food is Texas barbecue flavor that accentuates the smokehouse. My favorite is the brisket. Brisket is one of our top sellers. We have a not so traditional way of seasoning it. So we season it with 5 different chilies. But we also do a traditional Texas style barbacoa. We do a cabrito. We smoke the quail here in the pit as well as our chicken. All of our equipment that we have in our pit room is not the traditional style smokers that you would see in every other smokehouse. We veered a little bit different from the traditional propane style offset smoker to a cabinet style offset smoker. A little bit different the way that the smoke rolls in on the briskets, but it also just encapsulates all that smoke flavor inside the briskets as well as the cabrito or the barbacoa or whatever else we may be smoking that day. Also, we have 2 in-ground pits that we have that go 6 feet down into the ground. We finish off our cabrito, we smoke our chicken, the whole pigs and things like that. It's a variety of different things that we can do with it as far as being able to smoke things in a different manner than the traditional smoker. The reception has been great. I mean, it's great to hear when somebody brings their dad and then their dad comes up and says, yeah, this is how my parents used to cook their cabrito on the ranch. Or yeah, that's some of the best brisket that I had. That's the reward. And just knowing that we can meet those qualities that takes them back to that childhood nostalgia or whatever, that we can meet that and take that person there, that's the reward for us. That look of satisfaction when they bite into your brisket or they bite into whatever you made that day and they shake their head, yeah, that is better than any food critic across the board. I'll take that over any food critic. I don't care where you write from. The customer is what makes the restaurant, and I definitely think that's the satisfaction. Using something different than what traditional everybody else is doing, that was the peak of my interest right there, because it's like, okay, I don't want to be like everybody else. That sets us apart as far as barbecue. Highlighting the meat with that chili flavor was definitely a different way of looking at things, of highlighting the proteins. I start off with our blend. We use a Mesquite oak blend. And so I start off with the oak and get the fire going, and then I just finish everything off with the Mesquite, let it burn nice and slow. That way it gives it that Mesquite profile. That's the profile that we're generally trying to get to, is that smokiness, that Mesquite flavor on all of our meats. From the wood on up, that's the whole process. What makes great barbecue, I could tell you this, is patience, time, and love. You have to have those 3 things to make great barbecue. You can't just throw somebody in and be like, okay, here's a smoker, here's some meat, here's a time. There has to be a method, there has to be love that goes into creating something that is gonna be in there for 16 hours. It takes a lot of time and nurture, knowing what to do at what times in the fire and what times in your cook, and knowing that and giving that love to that piece of protein that you're nurturing for those 12, 16 hours. That's mainly the difference. You can't rush barbecue. You have to have patience. It's a slow person's job. That's why people drink beer. You just sit there and enjoy it. You ain't going nowhere for a while. So might as well crack a cold one. I think at the end of the day, just having the satisfaction that you accomplished something and you put everything that you had into that, I think that is what makes this job so gratifying. Yeah, it's a lot of grueling hours and it's a lot of stinky days and it's a lot of chafe, a lot of sweat, a lot of cowboy hats, but at the same time, at the end of the day, when you see people happy or coming for your product, that's what makes this job. I would rather do this and wear a suit and tie and work in an office. Sharing a moment with another human, that's the blessing in it, I think. And the whole reason why I got into barbecue is because I came from a lowrider culture, and everybody had lowriders, but at the same time, everybody that had lowriders and went through that culture, they were raised by the people on the ranch. And the ranch, people that were from the rancho, they used fire, used whatever they had to make some pretty awesome meals. So really trying to really challenge myself to do something else than what everybody else was doing, and learning that cooking with fire, cooking with different types of wood, cooking with oak, cooking with live oak, cooking with mesquite, cooking with pecan. It's a challenge that not many people know how to do. Having perfectly aged wood, that makes a huge difference on how your fire is able to maintain throughout your cook time. Chief Firewood, they're our vendor, we've been using them since we opened, but I think we also did our homework on to see who else in Texas, what wood they were using. And so if you look at barbecue places like Franklin or Truth, and seeing Chief Firewood popped up, and they've been excellent since the beginning. In the beginning, we would go through a lot more wood than we expected, and they would come through and bring a shipment down. And that would come in clutch, especially when you're a brand new restaurant trying to open. So the majority of your protein comes from the pit. You don't have any wood, then that's how Chief Firewood, they've always come through in the clutch whenever we needed them. They were always looking for us to be successful and help out whichever way they could, so. So barbecuing may be easy, but smoking and barbecuing are two totally different things. Barbecuing is getting the charcoals and putting them in the Weber and grilling some burgers. That's barbecuing. But smoking is getting some wood, really putting it down and sitting out there either overnight for that 12 hours and really taking the time and creating something that's really a masterpiece at the end of the day. Smoking is more difficult and challenging, I would say. So we do things like family style. We also have individual platters. Lunch is more of a plate style, rice and beans, enchiladas, chicken enchiladas. Like dinner and family style platters, we'll have a quesadilla, brisket, cabrito, and chicken all on one platter for 4, and you have side rice and beans and stuff like that. So we generally try to recognize we are a house, so we try to have that family style aspect and bringing that feeling of a home. So that's our goal, is to try to give that hospitality of that and explain it through our food as well. My name is Ernie Salgado. I'm the pitmaster here at Carriqui, and we use Chief Firewood.